Hello, dear colleagues. Today I am very glad to join European Conference on Computing in Construction 2022 with my report Smart Campus as a core of project-based BIM education in AECO field, case study in Satbayev University, Kazakhstan, which I made with the great support of my supervisors, Bolat Kuspangaliev, professor from Satbayev University, and Professor Lavinia Chiara Tagliabue from the University of Turin. One of the main revolutions of the 21st century in the construction sector is the adoption of building information modeling methodology. Numerous advantages of this technology are widely presented and well known, so I will not stop on it. But I want to state that consistent implementation of such a method is a strategical target for the construction sector worldwide. I also can confidently state that implementing of such new methods and related technologies is crucially dependent on education, which is paramount, producing adequate specialists and increasing broad knowledge. Even more, BIM as a methodology especially requires to be adopted massively to gain all its benefits. In the literature today, we can find several types of BIM academical education, such as special events, separate courses, integral part of different other courses, and special master or PhD curriculums. Each of these types have its own advantages and disadvantages that define in what cases it have to be used. According to our analysis, in the developing countries and countries which are on the zero or the first level of BIM adoption, the best way to educate BIM is separate BIM courses. In Kazakhstan, such circumstances are lack of specialists, lack of current demand for BIM in the construction field, lack of experience among the specialists on one hand, and the great demand for BIM software skills, also the BIM global trend and efforts that country done to adopt this technology on the other hand. As a result, in 2017 in Kazakhstan, in Satbayev University, the first course that called Basics of BIM Technology was introduced, and it was mostly software oriented. It was developed in the architecture and engineering department separately, and it was more or less isolated, and because of that stagnated. But now the circumstances are changing, and we have now our national BIM regulations. We have a particular attention to BIM knowledge in our new professional standards, and also such global challenges as COVID-19 are also influences and forced us to redesign this course and make it more methodology and process oriented, more multidisciplinary, and more dynamically developing. Reviewing the literature and the research on this topic, we found that the best way to achieve these points is to use project-based education method. So we stop on it and start to design our course using Tyler model of curriculum development, in which processes was defined by the purpose of the course itself and was building information modeling. But we still had two questions which we need to define before we will start the course, and that was the aim of the course. In this case, it should be the project, which would be the core of the whole process, and the evaluation methods that will help us to make the course high quality and efficient. And the main finding that we want to share with our colleagues is our idea to use a smart campus project, a smart campus concept as a core of project-based education and the BIM education in university generally. Smart campus is up-to-date direction of university environment development based on Industry 4.0 technologies. It may effectively be BIM based as retrieved in existing studies. While some of such studies involved students of different levels for the integrated tasks of the project, it has never been considered as a core concept that can orchestrate the BIM education process in the university. Nevertheless, it opens to an evolving concept related to BIM-based digital twins. To understand the whole process of university campus project, we create the roadmap for this project, starting from the collection of the data and finishing with a reconstruction of the facilities and implementation of new digital technologies. And of course, one of the main stages was the modeling of the facilities using building information modeling processes. We also defined what types and what parts of the whole project could be realized within the BIM courses and what parts could be realized in different other academical activities. And we found that the optimal task for BIM course would be modeling of university facilities, because there are a lot of such facilities, so there are a lot of such tasks which could be used for such courses for several years, and they also requires basic skills and basic knowledge about BIM. For the first experimental version of this course, we start the pilot project and we chose one of the university blocks where the architecture department is situated. So we made all this course about this block. To evaluate the quality and efficiency of the course, we used gold standard of project-based learning, which has certain key criteria and checks that are listed below. And we found that smart campus and the modeling of facilities of university perfectly fit all these design elements of the project-based education course. Finally, the course that was conducted in fall 2021 had three main didactic sections, which was BIM theory, BIM practice, based on Revit authoring tool, and the final work that was electively project-based education component or traditional coursework. We allow students to choose because it was as an experiment, and we didn't want to force them to join it. And here you can see the main topics of theoretical and practical classes that covers the basic theoretical and practical knowledge and skills for BIM in Kazakhstan and I suppose in the world. In this first version of the course, we suppose that the whole process will be done with the participants of the students, beginning from the creation of regulation documents and technical dispositions, and of course continuing with the modeling itself. We used Autodesk templates for such documents as BIM uses, BIM execution plan, and BIM standard. We also used Autodesk templates for projects which were adopted to Kazakhstan regulations and standards, and we used OneDrive as a base for our common data environment, because the professional software was too expensive and complicated for us. So, and we also used Revit for all modeling and all the modeling process, and we use Microsoft Teams for coordination and problem shooting. Finally, we created the model of aimed university block with all architectural elements, construction elements, with all basic equipment and necessary information inside these elements. We also include a lot of information inside the rooms that was required by the administration of university to make such things as scheduling or something like that. We also used some physical information in the elements of the buildings that allowed us to make some calculations, like thermotechnical calculations. And we have finally and successfully presented this project to university administration, which liked it very much and highly appreciated it. But we also had some problems which we also want to share with you, the problems and the possible decisions for them. The first problem that we had is a lack of time to create initial documents as BIM standard, BIM uses, and building information modeling execution plan within the course, because we found that students do not have enough expertise and experience for that. So for the further courses, we suppose that we will create such documents by our professors and maybe involving students just as a research work. The next problem was uncertainty during the work in a common data environment, because students experienced a lot of data losses and errors. I suppose because the OneDrive is not a professional tool for that, and it's not very good in work with Revit or Autodesk applications. And we supposed to collaborate with our IT faculty to create our own platform, which not only be used during creation of the models for Smart Campus, but also during the implementation of this project. The last problem that I want to share is the difficulties that we have in organization of multidisciplinary modeling process, because initially we supposed that not only architects but also engineers will work on this model, but then unfortunately we found that they have BIM course in the other semester, so it is impossible to make it in parallel. And for the future we create a special working group which includes professors from each faculty and from each department that we plan to involve in this process to decide such things and to correct the curriculum and so on. And I want to conclude with the statement that Smart Campus is a great decision for the university at all, and it could be good core for project-based education, for building information modeling. It of course have some problems that we did not decide for this first attempt, but we believe that it's have the great potential for Kazakhstan and other countries. Thank you for your attention.